But let's face it, doing what you love and getting paid for it aren't the same thing. If you want music to be your full-time career, it's time to break out of the starving artist mentality and learn what it takes to stay relevant and make a great living as a musician. But here's the truth. Until you learn to treat the music business like a lucrative one, it won't be. That's why we created the Unstoppable Singer Summit, a free 3-day virtual event to help singers learn from the experts how to thrive in today's changing industry. My name is Danielle Tucker, and as a professional singer and vocal coach, I've faced a lot of the same challenges you have throughout my career. That's why I've made it my mission to support my fellow singers to rise up, move forward, and continue doing what they love. During the summit, you'll learn how to build a profitable, lifelong career, no day job required, earn money through multiple streams of income, expand your audience, and continue to keep your true fans engaged. Continue to thrive and develop your craft as an artist. And stay hopeful for the future, even when you're not sure what your next gig's going to be. Whether you're a musical theater singer, an independent artist, or the lead singer in your band, this virtual event is for you. Well, good evening and welcome to the Unstoppable Singer. I'm Danielle Tucker. I am your host. I am also a singer, a vocal coach, and lead singer of the Mighty Untouchables band. The Unstoppable Singer is a live interview style show where I follow the lives of real professional singers, and these singers have made incredible achievements in their careers and lives, and we talk about all the challenges and triumphs that come with a career under the bright lights, and we learn what being unstoppable looks like to them. So if this sounds like it's for you, stick around because I'm going to jump in and introduce my incredible guest tonight. I am so excited. This is a really special edition. It is Wendy Parr. Wendy Parr, the holistic artist coach, is an artist, educator, and networking magician who has spent more than 20 years in the entertainment industry, coaching a wildly diverse array of top music artists plus actors, including Sara Bareilles, Regina Spektor, Lynn Gunn, Marc E. Bassy, Melanie Martinez, and Mandy Gonzalez of Hamilton, plus In the Heights, both on Broadway, and penning Grammy-winning compositions and passionately empowering her clients to build a life and career of success defined by authentic expression. So without further ado, let me bring on Wendy. Hello.
Hi, I'm so
How
glad
are
I'm
you?
here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to have you. This is awesome.
Yay.
Yeah.
I'm just letting people know right now. I just put in a little thing. Hey, I'm live right now. Come join us. And if they join the Facebook group, will they be added in so they can join this stream?
Yes, absolutely.
There we
Yep.
go.
Let them know. Let's go.
Help
As you
people.
as you saw, I was just running a little commercial for the
Yes.
Unstoppable Singer Summit, which is just 5 days away. I just posted a link to the free registration in the comments. You are one of our 40 incredible speakers, and I am so grateful to have you on board. Everyone is so pumped that you're going to be there. So thank you so much for being on board with that.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here. I'm excited to be a part of it, to share. And I literally just love empowering artists. And if I can help somebody navigate their career smoother, easier, happier, I'm thrilled.
Well, you are perfectly in alignment with everything we love and stand for at the Unstoppable Singers.
Thank
So
you.
we're really super honored to have you. And we'll talk more about your presentation in a little bit, and also get into your coaching practice and everything. The title of your presentation this year is the Artist Branding Toolkit. So stick around so you can hear about that. But I just want to step into just kind of where you're at today in 2023, what you have going on in your business right now in your life, and how's Wendy Parr today?
Oh my gosh, I'm good. There's so much going on. I'm juggling. It's amazing. I'm my friend, and actually someone who started as my student when they were a USC student, right? I guess I've known them since they're like 17, 18 years old. And then she became a voice teacher, a songwriter. This is someone who's amazing pianist and musician. I was like, you can write lyrics. And like, no, I don't think so. And now they've been writing lyrics for years, also with another vocal coach that I helped train to be a vocal coach. They're partners. They have a publishing thing. Like we've known each other a long time. And I've known her since she was a kid, right?
Yeah.
And I was just a few years older. She just texted me, out of the blue today saying, I love your post and you look so happy. I'm so happy to see that. And that's really where I'm at. That's what's really cool. I have a family and 19-month-old twins, and I'm like life and motivation has shifted a lot, and as hard as things can be, because let me tell you, twins are hard, and life, and there's just a lot going on. It's been so enriching and so much growth from it. And like I said, so motivational. Like there's stuff I watch them do and I'm like, oh my gosh, look how we human. And I watch them move through their emotions like this. And I'm like, that's what we do as artists. Like just let the emotions pour out and flow. When do we stop doing that? Like what shut us down? And so I'm learning a lot from them. That's just really fun to bring into my work. And at the same time as like babies were born, I have been working on my startup, which is a new aspect to what I'm doing in my business, right? I've been a one-on-one coach for many years. I've gone on tour with artists. I write for artists. And I've taken things that I've done with Sara Bareilles and things I've done with Marc Bassy, and I've really turned it into an artist development pathway of online courses and live courses with me. And so I'm really excited. I just looked at what are all the things I do with artists and how can I make this more accessible, reach more people with it. There's only so many hours in a day. So like I said, I've got 3 online pre-recorded classes and then the artist branding, the Compass course, which is really about branding. And what is branding? For me, I've helped artists open their voice, expand their voice, express themselves truthfully, starting here, right? Yeah. How do I express my voice? And what is expected of an artist now is to do that themselves everywhere. Like you're expected to be the marketing person. You're expected to develop yourself for a very long time on your own, use social media. Good luck. Yeah. But what does that mean, right? Like there's a difference between marketing and branding. And in order to market something, you have to have the something. Like what are you marketing? What are you putting out there? What's your message, right? So over the years, I've gone from just helping an artist to like vocally express themselves to, well, how does this manifest everywhere? How is this in your graphic and in your visual and in your live performance? Is this all matching? And now just social media. Like, is my message clear everywhere? Yeah. Is who I am showing up everywhere? Right. And therefore, I like it. It's really me. Like, yes, yes, I can do that, repeat and rinse that. I can do that for the next, 2,000 times because I like doing that. Not, I've created a monster because I did something someone told me to do and it hit and now I have to keep doing it. And actually I don't like doing that thing at all, which is way too common. Right. Well, the content that you put out and the programs that you pull together are so important because just like you said, artists, singers, musicians, you have to wear so many hats. You've got to be your own CPA. You've got to be your own marketing professional. But first and foremost, you have to be the artist. Yeah. And that it's so difficult to achieve that balance for some people stepping into this world because I see a lot of artists that are just so committed to their craft that they absolutely will not accept that they have to put on a business hat and, play all of these different roles. Then you see the polar opposite of that, where you have artists who get so deep into the marketing, the platforms, the just like trying to copycat everything that everybody's doing, keeping up with all that stuff, that they neglect the art form itself, the craft itself. Right. And so you really ground all of that for your artists with the programs that you put together. So yeah, I just thank you. Absolutely love the work. It's it really stems from my journey as an artist. I started working when I was 8 years old as a performer, voiceover artist, actress. I missed the first day of 8th grade because I was working. Yeah. And the principal was like, "Where were you?" And I was like, "I was working." And like, what else would I be doing? Like what, what school? I have a job. But what happened to me, this hasn't stopped happening. That, I was misdirected. I was told, don't be you, be more like this, quiet that down. That won't sell. I had different labels telling me to be more like that artist, more like, so there's a certain amount of, the average is 7 to 10 years for the artist to find their voice. That's about an average, right? I think it's a little longer now because of social media, because of all the demands, because there isn't a lot of people helping you cultivate that development, right? Like there's a lot of like, how do I sell myself? Well, okay, but who's myself?
Right.
I'm going to go back to that. So what happened to me is still happening to people, right? So I got in a position where my voice was out here. People applauded me, loved my singing. And I'm like, I feel like my personality is way back here. My voice is out here. They are not connected. I'm not having fun anymore. And I don't even like the sound of my voice. What happened? How'd I get here?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the unraveling of that became the cornerstone of my philosophy and my coaching, which is helping the artist be true to yourself, find your voice, so that when you show up, as the most basic human need we have is to be seen and heard, loved for who we are. I want to help you show up being who you are.
Yeah.
And not who everyone told you to be, should be, would be, could be, this'll sell. Show up doing you. And you evolve. I've been working with Regina Spektor since just after her first record. And if you listen to her recordings and if you listen to her singing her earliest songs today, she's the same person, but matured.
Right.
Right? Vocally matured, heart matured, spirit matured. She's a mom with kids. She's toured many times. Like, it's not a different artist. It's just expanded and evolved.
Yeah.
And so that evolution should always happen. But how do I still stay true to myself as I evolve is really what I help artists do. Asking the questions that help you stay in line with yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just jump into that. So in your practice, how do you help artists begin to like look inward to figure out who they are?
Yeah. So the first session I have with every artist, it's called Blueprint. And we're going to do a little singing in our first session. Like, I'm going to hear you sing, and then I'm going to give you some instructions so that you can feel and hear where we're going to go vocally. So in that first session, someone's going to be like, oh, I see what we can do vocally. Like, oh, I like this, right? I like where we're going vocally. Of course, I'm your vocal coach, so we got to show you that, right? We're going to take you there. But before we start training, before we start the athleticism of vocal training, we're going to have a conversation about what matters to you, why you do what you do. Why do you sing? Like, answer this question, like right now in the chat. Why do you sing? Right? So that we're going to look at going back to your why, the meaning of art and music to you. And then we're going to look at, well, what's getting in the way of that? What are the lists of things that you worry about? What's the voice in your head telling you that all the things you have to get right? And at the top of that list is, hitting notes, sounding good, looking weird.
Yeah.
These are everyone's got a list, and the list is the same. Here's my list of worries and concerns. Here's my list of why I do what I do. Why do we sing? I mean, you tell me, why do you sing?
I sing because I like the feeling of bringing out emotion in people. I like the feeling it gives me. It's gratifying. I like the alter ego that it brings out in me.
Now that's interesting. Tell me about alter ego, because it's you, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I know it's me.
So what part of you is coming out?
It's the suppressed part of me that is not very present in my day-to-day life. I think when I'm just me every day, I'm very covered up by just responsibility and just playing a role as a mom and, as a business person. And I think when I step on stage, something clicks for me that just shifts into this way more expressive, way more emotionally available and vulnerable person. Yeah.
So first of all, I applaud that completely. And I support that. I would so encourage you to bring that expressive, vulnerable person into your daily. Like where can I show up with this? Especially for your kids. How can I play vulnerably with my kids and sing with them? That'll help it come through, right?
Yeah.
But what you just said is everything. Like I am vulnerable in this space. I express parts of myself that are really best expressed through music. Like I get to express myself in ways I can't in my daily, right? This is true for all singers. And what shuts that down? All the things you've been told to be, don't be, should be, all this stuff that suppresses you in the daily. So in that first session, we're really going to go through those steps so that we can burn up the things that are stopping you on stage in the recording studio so that you can fully be yourself. The list of what's stopping you and the list of the why aren't the same at all. There is no correspondence. So why are we in this list at all? Why are we doing anything that's stopping us from that joy of expression, of connection to the audience? So that first session is the first most important thing, to relieve ourselves of things that are stopping us, free the path to like really trust yourself and be vulnerable in the space of making music. And then we can start training, because if we start training, bringing on the stuff that's not serving you and stopping you, that's not going to work.
Right.
So for me, singing and training is all about getting back in your body. This is where your spirit is. This is the you. This is the where you trust yourself, is that whole body. Yes, I trust that. Oh, this doesn't feel right. I trust that. So now we get to make choices based on how it's feeling internally. And that those choices start in the vocals, and then they start going to everything else of what's feeling aligned with me, what resonates with me. And then, as I said, as we start moving into other parts of branding, I've got so many questions to ask you that take us into the visual world and the graphic design and the persona. And as I said, your message in social media, your message in your lyric. One artist from China took Compass, and she said, I have a whole record that's ready to go, and I just don't want to release it. And through taking Compass, she said, I realized I love the music, but the message is wrong. My lyrical content is very much in alignment with all the other female artists of China, like kind of being cute and whatever, this is just like everybody else.
Yeah.
She said, and actually I want to empower people to like not be that, like don't conform, be yourself, whatever that is, take more risks. She's like, I love the songs. I need to rewrite lyrics because the message isn't what I want to say.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a tough spot to find yourself in. Yes and no, I guess.
well, yes, because you've invested time, right?
Right.
However, worse would be if she put the record out and had to keep saying the message that's the antithesis of what she wants to say. Sheryl Crow shelved a whole album and then came out with her big, Grammy-winning album after that because she's like, this doesn't feel right. Started fresh, and look where it took her, right? Like, oh, this is my truth. Oh, this is what speaks to me. So I wholeheartedly believe, and you can see from historical data and current artists, like your truth and authenticity is what resonates.
Right.
The labels, as I talk to record labels and share them, talk about Compass, and they're like, yeah, we don't want to tell the artist what to do. Like, we're just trying to move things sometimes. Like, hey, there's a music video to be made. Let's help you come up with a concept because you don't have a concept.
Yeah.
They need to help the artist move their career forward. But they're like, it's always better when it comes from the artist. It's going to speak the truth and resonate with their fans.
Right. Yeah. And, not to deviate too far from that point, though, I wonder, how often do you see artists who come to this place of awareness or understanding of themselves, and it's quite a distance from where they have already established themselves as an artist? So let's say you've got a singer who's been in the, I'll use myself as a little bit of an example. Let's say I've been singing country for years and years, and maybe lyrically things have been maybe just kind of like cheeky and fun and party vibe and everything. And for quite a long time, it's felt cool, but not quite right, not quite right. And then years later, after, you know, many, many albums, you have that, you know, realization that, you know what, I'm an R&B artist, and I am all about singing about, you know, love or, you know, inspiration or something like that. You know, do you see fear in artists coming to an honest place about that because they're
Sure.
afraid, like, oh, they're going to lose their audience because they're
I
making
have yet to see what your example, like I have yet to see something be so dramatically different,
right.
right? Like one of the things I talk about is flavor. Like we're going to discover your flavor, right? And like for me, I'm like curry, coconut milk, you know, spice, um, with a hint of lavender and honey. Like that's very me. Like in my cooking, I'm going to do that kind of stuff. It's unlikely that I'm like cooking chocolate, and suddenly go, oh, I'm Indian curry. Like it might be like that. Some of it's there, but I've been afraid of little parts of it. So we're going to help find your flavor. And then what happens? Like if you're chocolate, it's going to be like milk chocolate this time, chocolate with Oreo this time, chocolate with raspberry. So the core of you is really solid, but
Right.
those are variations, right? Like someone whose flavor is chocolate isn't suddenly going to be like, actually, I'm vanilla. But we still have that fear of risk taking, you know, which you have anyway, right? If you're making a record, whatever fears you have are going to be there. But how much more confidence do you have when what you're putting out there you believe in so much more, and you feel so behind and so generated with it, like the confidence is so much greater, and the word is certainty, but like the alignment is so strong. That's going to be much bigger than the fears that are always there anyway. Will people like it? How you know? And this is where marketing happens. If, for example, you're doing all that country music and you go, I really love R&B, which is a kissing cousin to country music, right? With the riffs and the runs. There's, you know, throw some 7th and 11th chord in there. There's some differences, but there's a lot of closeness too. Part of the way of helping it land with your audience is the story that around it, right? So that becomes the marketing. Like, how do we share the story of this evolution of you?
Yeah.
You know, or if suddenly you were to write a song that was like, or an album that was all like, cherished lullaby, and it's like, I'm a new mom, and I've like inspired, like I'm so inspired being a mom that I've made this whole record around it. Of course your audience is going to be like, I'll go on that journey with you. I see how motherhood changed you. I love that you went here. And then what's the next one? So part of it is the honesty and the storytelling around of the growth or the evolution. You know, and we've seen artists, I'll say 2 examples. We've seen artists who really changed, like Miley Cyrus, right? She to break from Disney, she went way over here, and then she kind of went here, and then kind of here, and then now you see where she is, right? And that's part of her just growth as a human, and from being youth to adult, you know, and when it is honest, we go on the journey with you.
Yeah.
We can also call out artists or recognize when an artist kind of makes a hard left, and it's like they're just trying to follow a marketing trend to be cool. How are they over there? I don't even get that from them. Like they've never done anything that makes sense. And those are trend followers instead of the evolution of the artist.
Right. Yeah. Big difference there.
Yeah. If there's the spectrum of like people who don't even know you exist, really don't like you, indifferent, like you, love you, super fans. That spectrum always exists. But what do you think is going to happen with the percentages of your fans? Where's that spectrum going to get heavier based on if you love what you're doing?
Yeah.
Right? It's going to, more and more people are going to love what you're doing when you love what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to shine through no matter what.
But the spectrum's there. You know, Justin Bieber, worldwide superstar. There's people who don't like him. Who cares? Does he care? Right? But if you love what you're doing, you're the person who's making that music every day, performing it every night. You've got to say that message. You're going to hear that band on stage with you. You're going to love it.
Yeah. Yeah. There is so much work to be done just to discover that, you know, identity in yourself as an artist. Do you think it's important that an artist go through this work before writing songs, before putting an album out, or is it just okay just to live the journey, just let things
Oh,
progress over time?
definitely live it. Like you
Yeah.
can't discover yourself without doing the writing. Like if you're a songwriter, like do the writing because that's how you discover what you want to say and how you want to say it, and it will change over time. But I do think there's a little bit. It's very interesting because of social media, a lot of people really enjoy finding that artist in early days, and they go on the long journey with them, right? I do think there is a push to put everything out. Like everything you do has to go online and but everything you do is not for consumption.
Mm-hmm.
You
Oh,
know, the artist needs to like do 10 drafts of something before you find the song that's the strongest of that story. And,
yeah.
oh, I wrote 5 songs, but this is actually the best version of it. That's the song,
Yeah.
you know, and you need time to like hibernate. You need time to try things. And yes, you can definitely share some of that. Like share your process if you want. Share, hey, this is a version I was putting together. This is why it's not the one, but like let me show you a clip of it and where I went after. Like people love that. They love the
Mm-hmm.
process.
Mm-hmm.
But some stuff's not for sharing. Some stuff is a song and you go, "Oh yeah, that was just my diary. Like I just needed to
Yeah.
get that out, but it's not a song."
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So absolutely like it like for some people I'm going to say share because you're waiting too long for it to be perfect. You're
Mm-hmm.
the one that needs to start like put your EP out. Someone else who's like, I wrote my first 5 songs, I'm ready to do an EP, but really doesn't know their sound. I'm like, slow down.
Yeah.
Spend more time in the studio with a producer, find your sound before you go forward. So because there's no one right answer, it also depends on your character, right? If you finish songs fast, I'm going to tell you do more drafts. If you
Mm-hmm.
never finish a song, I'm going to tell you give yourself a 2-week deadline and that's it. Song's done, move on.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I love that. That's a great point. So, staying on the topic of sound, uh, what can how do you help an artist gain that clarity around their sound specifically so that it's not so um, they're not developing something that's so broad or a mix of too many things, or
Mm,
how do they get clarification on what their sound is?
okay, cool. So, well, first of all these questions we're talking about, I am going to suggest come to the Unstoppable Singer Summit because
Heck
I'm
yeah.
going to go deeper into all of these questions and give you really specific, like, I'm not going to share, I don't want to share it now because it's like, it's there, it comes, you know, but I'm going to give really specific questions to help you dive further into yourself
Mhm.
in our summit. That's the toolkit. Um, but let's start with the sound. So the first is I start with the voice of the artist, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of artists will come to me and say, I don't want to change my style. Like I have an artist I'm working with right now who is very iconic in their genre. They've been doing this for decades. Like they're really they're renowned in their genre, right? And so
Mhm.
first session was like, I'm really reluctant about this because I don't want to change my style.
Yeah.
And my response is, we are not going to change it. You won't lose the ability to do everything you already can. I'm here to help you expand it.
Mhm.
So imagine that we take the style you have and suddenly you can do more things easier, stronger. One artist, I love what he said. He said, I feel like I'm like the movie version of myself. It's kind of the younger, more handsome version. Like my voice is becoming this thing that's like better than it was, right? Like
Yeah.
so in helping someone really open up the voice, when muscularly we get aligned vocally,
Mhm.
your true voice comes out. You know, because the freedom is there, the emotions get to come pouring out more easily. You know, if you're singing certain notes, and this happens a lot, it's really hard to express my anger. Like, why are you laughing? I'm so furious. You know, don't
Yeah.
you believe me? Right. No, because anger needs my guts, my chest voice, right?
Uh-huh.
So vocal connection helps make emotional expression.
Mhm.
And you know, again, if I start talking to you in another accent, it's like kind of interesting. But then you're like, wait a minute, who's that? Because that's not the person I know, right? So
Mhm.
if you start singing and you start sounding unlike your personality, oh, wait a minute, who's that? Right? So when your voice gets opened up, oh my gosh, your personality gets to show up 1,000-fold, millionfold, like crackles and interesting moments happen in the voice. And so helping someone change vocal habits really helps open things up. If someone, for example, this is a common one, my artist calls this peak management. I just love it. So let me think of a song that okay, I'm going to exaggerate, but let's say it's like, I came in like a wrecking ball. I never meant to break your wall. I'm not going to remember these lyrics, but basically every time there's an interval, it's kind of, you get louder, you punch it. And this is really common for singers to do, is your style is being dictated by melody instead of storytelling, instead of emotional expression, right? So there's the peaks are getting hit, and actually the other words get forgotten.
Yes.
Right? I never meant to, I came in like a wrecking ball, and then ball's like swallowed. I never meant to break your walls. All I wanted was to wreck. Like, so this becomes a surging thing, right?
Yes.
When we start taking that away, I never meant to, let me get the lyrics so I'm not like just making this up here. Do it. And this isn't even like your best interval, like something that's more like something that has a lot more quick interval, which I should, now that I've thought of this in this moment, I should have a song ready for this idea, because it's a good one to share, right?
Yeah.
So someone in the chat right now is going to throw me a song that's like, I can't see the chat, that's like this one has that. Well, this one, the verse does, like, we clawed, we chained, where's that? Oh, we jumped, never asking why. We kissed, I fell, right? That has that peak. So if I'm overemphasizing that, my vocals become monotonous and monotone. I don't say some words because I'm focused on those. And this is really unconscious. This is just the habit of playing the melody. Yeah. Instead of trust the melody to do its job, and let's get your vocals to feel balanced. Like the piano doesn't do that. The piano, when you play the piano, you don't just automatically, you don't automatically make that dynamic because the note is there. You just do, I do. And then I would do the dynamics as I choose, as opposed to, right? Oh, I'm pounding that just because it's higher, right? We wouldn't do that on a guitar or a piano. So if instead I said, we clawed, we chained, we only, we jumped, never asking why. Oh, I can do whatever I want dynamically. And words start to get interesting things going on. So it's not we clawed, right? Which becomes fast, slow, loud, quiet. But my we can have moments. We clawed, we chained. Instead of, oh, that just gets loud. So all of a sudden, oh my gosh, my ability to tell a story changes so much when I'm not singing melody or I'm not focused on notes. I'm now telling a story. I'm telling an emotional story. And then what happens when I encourage you to, as we'll say, go Coachella on it? Let's assume any song you're singing, it's your song. You've played it 20 times, that's who's heard it, whatever. But you're going to go out and sing it like it's already a hit. We already know the song. So feel free to make subtle changes. Don't teach us the song you're singing. Right? That's another common thing where people are like, I need you to know my song, or I have to teach you my song as I'm singing it. No, make it different on Tuesday and Thursday. You don't have to fully improvise, but what can you do? Change a syllable per line. Yeah. Right? If I said, oh, there we go. That it was blocked. I knew there was a line missing. If I said, we clawed, we chained our hearts in vain, we jumped, never asking why. What'd I do? Changed a melody. I put a comma. So I came in late. And you only have to change one syllable per line. It will domino some stuff. But this is a really fun game to get out of the habit of, how do I always sing this song? I feel stuck there. Or how do I change a cover? Or how do I change my own song that I've kind of sung so many times? It's hard to try new things. Change a melody somewhere. Change. And what am I doing? I'm literally just looking at the lyric and I'm like, I'm going to point to something. A word is going to make me feel like I want to change it, right? Yeah. We, what if I emphasize the we? We clawed, we chained our hearts in vain. We jumped, never asking why. Never feels important to me. We never asked why. But what if I just changed it? We clawed, we chained our hearts in vain. We jumped, never asking why. That doesn't sit right to me, but it's a rehearsal. So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I like when I emphasize never. That feels more important to me. So how do we discover our style? Playing games, changing it up, getting out of our comfort zone. And so I call that game one syllable per line. Just change one syllable. And I could point to it. I could point to Claude, I could point to we, I can point to change, and just change one of them until you go, oh, I like that. I like that. Now, what's that do for the rest of the verse? Is that a new pocket for me? Which then might get you to change the groove or the key and the minor. And you okay, my love? Sorry, my dog's having a little something.
Aw.
Okay, love. You okay? Little nose thing.
Aw.
So yeah, so these are some of the things, like vocal technique really opens things up. I know that you've heard in the last few years how so many singers do this. I feel like I want to put you down. Like this little, everyone's basically saying their vowels all the same way.
Right.
That's a sure way not to sound like yourself.
Right.
You know?
That's a hard trend. That's a hard trend.
I know. It started with Lorde and Adele. And Lorde has an accent compared to an American accent, right? She has an accent when she speaks English because she's from another country, and everyone starts copying that. And then Adele has her oohs, and people start doing that. That's going to get you to sound not like yourself. So say words the way you say them. Say them in fun ways the way you say them. And again, the same voice I recognize if you're talking in the other room, I recognize that you're singing. That's your personality coming out.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. If you don't mind me adding, just a night or two ago, I happened to watch a Netflix special of Barbra Streisand in concert, and it was, I believe, probably her most recent, at least, special, and it was all the way in 2017. But she's obviously her voice is phenomenal.
One of my
even as
influences is she was my hero as a 5-year-old. Like
same. But the
only person I ever froze. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, but
no, that's okay.
I was 10 or 12 when I met her, and absolutely like froze. Like I'm,
yeah.
Barbara, this is Wendy. I was like, hi. No, I was 10 years old, but like hero. Like what a vocalist, what a storyteller, what an actress. Okay, please continue.
I'd freeze now at my age if I were to meet her. But that the storytelling, that's her vocal is just, it is pure emotion. The way she delivers a word, a phrase, just you're so nailing it with how you're talking about, like not letting the melody lead the emotion, but rather putting the storytelling and using the right emphasis on the right words and ideas.
But what's right for you will be different for someone else, which will make the performance unique.
Yes. But she is just a master at what she does, and you can tell there's no jaded delivery in what she does. It is genuine and heartfelt and just absolutely captivates her audience, and she's just got everyone in the palm of her hand, during the whole concert. And I was so blown away by that, and that just really jumped into my head when you were talking about, really honing in on that practice.
People, like if you listen to Whitney Houston, listen to a Whitney Houston song, listen to I Want to Dance with Somebody. She's laid back vocally through the whole song. She's like laying back the whole time. The chorus gets bigger, but she doesn't get louder and bigger. She's having that same laid back groove. She's smooth. Now listen to Mary J, and she attacks every word. She's on top. She's like on top of, if not pushing the beat, because those are different personalities.
Yeah.
So it's like, where are you? And the other thing you asked about in terms of musical sound, and this is really important. and we will go into this more with the presentation as well, but like getting clear about, well, so I have a program called Sound Chart. It is a 3-step process to help you distill your sound into a recipe on paper. Mm-hmm. So from the message to instrumentation to vibe to like everything on paper. So when you then go into the studio, you can say, ooh, okay, these are my ingredients. How are we bringing them to life? I'm dark and edgy. Is that the vocal in this song or is that the synth? Is that the background vocals or is it the lead? Like, which ingredient here is the olive oil going in all the recipes, in all the dishes? And what's the cinnamon that's just in a couple, right? Like this really helps you distill that. And in the course I took Selena Moreno, who was making her 5th record through this process, and it really shifted her 5th album. Like you'll hear her have discoveries in the class that you're like, she's like, oh, I can't even believe this. I've never done that musically, right?
Wow.
So yeah, super cool.
Yeah.
So looking at one of the things here, we talked about Streisand, right? I for sure learned so much from her as a vocalist that is still implemented in what I'm doing today. But let's just look at your first 5 influences. Just right now, as you're listening right now, like who comes off the top of your head? Don't think hard. Like when you were a young musician, a young artist, like who are you listening to? First 5 influences. Now, maybe one of them will be someone that came a little later. Okay. But I want early days. For me, John Denver, Aretha Franklin, Streisand, Stevie Wonder, Bee Gees, Prince. Like those were like age 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
In the other room for my brothers, I heard AC/DC, Pink Floyd, the Beatles. They used to tell me the Beatles are better than the Bee Gees. I'm like, the Bee Gees. And if I listen to myself as an artist, like I stopped pursuing being the artist in front, right? So I didn't take the whole journey that I'm helping artists on. However, I am as a human. Like I still, have my brand as a coach. I have, I am an artist as a person. But if I look at like songwriting for other people, I'm always going to write for them. But if I'm writing music, I can hear those influences in what I love about music and in what I put to music. Gospel, soul. Like I'm not a gospel singer. I'm not an R&B singer. I was in my 20s. I'm not an R&B singer. In my 20s, I was, but I'm soulful and I love gospel. I love call and response. I love gospel background vocal parts. Like you will hear elements of that in my songwriting or my co-writing or my producing. Storytelling. John Denver, a later influence. One of my favorite songwriters is Patty Griffin. I hear that Americana quality. If I write with some artists who are more Americana. If I'm writing stuff for me, I'll get that. Let's call it the Streisand Americana, like that kind of stuff in there where maybe there's more soaring vocals or the storytelling is a little more intimate. Yeah. So I could say like that wheelhouse, right. Beautiful Heartache, Supremes, Aretha Franklin, the story of Beautiful Heartache, like that's in what I do. So I can see my influences in my music and I can get very specific about parts that are there that are like, these are the elements that are part of what I do.
Right.
So, okay, love. Yeah, you okay? Little nightmare.
Aww.
Sorry, just having a nightmare.
Oh, poor thing.
Okay. So if you look at just those first 5 influences and you start to investigate, let's just say, for example, what are 3 adjectives that describe each of the artists that you love? How would you describe them just with 3 adjectives? And then take a look at that list and be like, ooh, which parts of these are like, I totally am those things. And which ones are like, I haven't stepped into the power of that yet. And that's what I love about them. That's what I need to bring out in myself.
Oh yeah. That's a great discovery.
We admire the things that we love in people that we want to be, that you already are, you have them in you. But you're admiring the thing that you want to live in more. So if you see an artist that's like, oh my gosh, they're so like uninhibited. Are you uninhibited? Step into it. Be boldly uninhibited. Like lean into that more. There's someone else that you find like, oh, they're so like, I just love their melodies and Oh, okay. How can I bring those into my work? I'm following these TikTok trends, but those are the melodies I love. Oh, they do ballads. When's the last time you wrote a ballad? Right? Like whatever those things are that you love in them, start embodying them.
Yeah,
and then see where
absolutely.
that road takes you.
Yeah, man, it's such an important practice. And I don't know if you experience this a lot, but a lot that I see in my own coaching practice is that reluctance to step out of your comfort zone, because so many singers come in really really set on what it is that they want to get out of the coaching, whether it's just expanding their range, or they want to be able to do this or that, but they come in kind of knowing what their strengths are and just wanting to heavily stay in that comfortable place. And I find that the more I ask singers to step out of their comfort zone, try different genres, try emulating different sounds, just purely to discover that dimension of their voice, it's really hard to do. It's really hard to commit to that process of discovery, because it takes you to some weird places and can be very, very uncomfortable. And it feels I would imagine sometimes feels like, what is the point of this? Why am I wasting my time doing this?
Sure.
How do you help your artists overcome their reluctance to the process at all? Or how do you explain the return on investment?
So I think the first thing is, like, if I have a conversation or someone goes to my website, or you're going to take that first class blueprint with me, the first thing is that I think that artists come to work with me who see where I'm coming from, and they're like ready for that, or they're aligned with that. I definitely had people take a first class with me or have a call and be like, nope, not for me. Because I'm about vulnerability and authenticity. And if you don't want to go there, I'm not the coach for you. If you want to just learn like how to stylize and like throw some runs on it, like, yes, I can do that, but that's not what we're going to be doing, right? Like, those runs are going to come from you, from an emotional place. And I'm going to show you ways to learn runs, right? But so the first thing is, like, I do always ask, like, what are your goals? Like, I want to know what you want to accomplish, because I'm going to help you accomplish that. And then I'm going to help you accomplish more.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to help you accomplish things you didn't even know you could do. The reluctancy part, I think, for me, a lot of it has to do with keeping it really fun, like making sure that, like, we're in a place where you feel like you're winning a lot, and that it's fun. Like, I don't want you to do any task that, like, oh, this just feels like this isn't enjoyable. Okay, either how can we make it enjoyable? What's the resistance? Where's the fear? I have one exercise I do. I get people stomping. And sometimes people will be like, this is embarrassing. And I'm like, if I just say stomping around the room is going to help you get everything you want out of your voice, why is that embarrassing, first of all? And who cares? Like, look how easy it is to get what you want, And then they're like, oh yeah, right. Like, you're not hurting anyone. You're not being humiliated. Like, what are you embarrassed about? Like, and if this is a solution, what an easy solution.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I have some fun, silly games that we're going to play to get comfortable playing, to get comfortable exploring. The words right and wrong don't happen in my studio. The explore and play, try, feel, this is what we're doing, because there's no wrong in that. There's what feels good. Let's do more of that. What you enjoy, let's do more of that. Oh, resistance. Let's look at why. And if the resistance is fear, can we break through it so you can get to the other side? Like, just as an example, this is a good question to ask. Like, an artist had a music video, and they said to me, like, I don't want to release the video. As I said, this happens a lot. So I don't want to release the video. And I asked them, I was like, here's the way to discern this. Does the video represent who you are? Is it under the umbrella of, like, who you are? Maybe you don't love the production. It could have been a higher value, but if it matches who you are, put it out, move on. Next one, different budget. Because that means you're just resisting, because it does speak to who you are. If the video concept and idea really is like, no, it's super frou-frou, it's saying something I wouldn't want to say, it's giving you a message, then you're not, it's not your ego and it's not just fear. It's, oh no, this is not the message I want to put out in the world. You need to change it.
Yeah.
And again, if we got to that place, let me give you some tools that will help you not get to the place that you created something that doesn't match who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the ability to communicate that's so important. So I think that we have to check our resistance. Like, is this my fear, my ego, which is also like normal? Like, oh, I'm just scared of putting it out. Normal, oh my gosh, will people like it? Normal, still putting it out. Or yeah, no, this is not it. We gotta make some adjustments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's fair too.
Wow. Man, we have so much good stuff that's going to come from you at the summit. There's so much. I wish we could talk about all of it right now, but we got to save some of the goodness for the summit and our attendees. And I don't think I told you this when you jumped on, but we have 1,500 people registered already for it. So
that's amazing.
Oh man, it's shaping up to be just incredible. So more to come from you on that. So I hope everybody listening registers, because we are so blessed to have a powerhouse coach like Wendy Parr on board with us. And I know you have a lot more to talk about. But as we kind of bring things home, first of all, I want to make sure that I put your links into the comments so that everybody can go and check out your website and your social media platforms. And I just want to, acknowledge you and the work that you are putting out into the singing community. It's so important. You obviously are very heart-centered in what you do with your singers, and there's nothing more important than that. And not only that, you're a parent now, which I know changes everything. And you're a phenomenal entrepreneur. To me, you are total badass all around.
Thank you. That's so kind of you.
I admire you so much. It makes me want to ask my final question. What makes you unstoppable?
Oh. I think my belief that life is meant to be really beautiful and that this world could be utopia. Like, I have a utopian outlook on life, that we're really here to help each other and live in an incredible world. And, these are some of the questions I have for God, where I'm like, why does this even exist? But I think that, I have a sadness sometimes for the way things are, but a really strong belief that, like, we're all meant to live incredibly joyful lives that are full of what feel like miracles. When you're like, oh my gosh, can you believe that happened? And then this person showed up and it was just it's the person I needed. Like, I think that's supposed to happen all the time.
Yeah.
When we, again, when we're aligned, when we're centered in who we are, what does that mean, centered in who we are? But like, when we're listening to ourselves and not lost in the noise. When you have a clear vision and you know what you want, then the people who show up, you recognize that, oh, these are people that could help me to get what I want, or I could help them get what they want. Like, I really think that we're meant to be living that way. So I think that my utopian belief system or outlook on the world, I think that's the unstoppable part. Like, obstacle, getting over it. I might cry along the way. I might get mad along the way and frustrated, and, but it won't stop me. It's not going to stop me from making a better world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And I know that you bring that into your coaching practice too. Yeah, of course.
You brought tears to my eyes.
Oh, you brought them to my eyes too. No, woo! So
great.
I'm not crying. You're crying. So is there anything other than the links in the comments that I've left, anywhere in particular you'd like our listeners to go and check out your work?
Well, primarily wendyparr.com, and my Instagram has all these wonderful tips. If you sign up for my mailing list, you'll get the Parr paper, which is creative tips and stories and that I tell, that's in my blog. And then, of course, if you click any of the links, like if you take the free offer that's on my website, it's going to take you over where my courses are, so you can see more about the courses. I have the Parr Pack, which is a Facebook group where we do events. I don't think we're as active as you are yet, but it's really, again, I love bringing people together, connecting people to one another. And we're doing events to help, like that, vocal technique, songwriting, just hangs where people get to meet each other. So most of it, like, it all hubs off of my website.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
great. Okay, go check out Wendy's website. And while you're on the internets, make sure you go to thesingersummit.com and
Yes.
register for free for this summit. It's happening May 15th through the 17th from 9 a.m. Pacific time to 5 p.m. Pacific time. And it's all happening live, and it's free, and it's free for 48 hours after everything goes live. And if you can't make it there live, that's okay. You've got the replays available to you for 48 hours. And if that still doesn't work for you, we offer a paid upgrade package that kind of gives you unlimited access to everything. But the first thing you have to do is just go register for free, and you'll get all of the other details on that. But
I'm on the 15th at 10:30 in the morning, LA time, PST.
Perfect. I love it. You'll be
Thanks
starting
for
off
having me
strong.
and having this beautiful conversation.
Yeah, this is awesome. I'm so glad to get a little sneak peek before the event begins and to get to know you better too. It's been really nice. Awesome.
Really nice.
All right. Well, we will give you and everybody back their evening. Everybody, please take care, and we will see you on the 15th. Thank you so much, Wendy.